Golden Age love stories that lasted, Hollywood's most enduring marriages. In a town where marriages were often measured in months rather than years, these Hollywood legends defied the odds. While tabloids splashed headlines about the latest celebrity divorces, these extraordinary couples were quietly building lifelong partnerships that would stand the test of time. Today we're sharing the remarkable love stories of Golden Age stars who proved that true romance wasn't just something they portrayed on screen. From surviving career upheavals to weathering personal tragedies, these iconic duos showed that even in the pressure cooker of Hollywood fame, genuine love could flourish for decades. Their marriages weren't just long, they were deep, devoted partnerships that reveal what real commitment looks like. In an industry notorious for fleeting relationships, these couples wrote their own scripts, love stories more beautiful and enduring than anything their studios could have created. Let's meet these extraordinary couples whose love proved stronger than the Hollywood machine, beginning with our first enduring partnership, Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, 56 years of love and activism. In February 1948, on the set of the Broadway play Jeb, two young actors met and began a partnership that would span over 5 decades. Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis weren't just husband and wife. They were creative collaborators, civil rights activists, and best friends whose marriage would become one of Hollywood's most inspiring love stories. Married in 1948, Ruby and Ossie faced challenges that went beyond the typical pressures of Hollywood. As African-American performers in an era of segregation and limited opportunities, they confronted racial barriers at every turn. Rather than allowing these obstacles to divide them, they drew strength from each other, becoming powerful voices in the civil rights movement while building extraordinary careers. Their professional lives were deeply intertwined. They appeared in numerous films together, including Do the Right Thing and Jungle Fever, co-wrote the autobiography with Ossie and Ruby, In This Life Together, and even hosted a radio show as a team. This creative collaboration strengthened their bond, with Ruby once noting that being able to share our art kept us connected in a unique way. Their relationship wasn't without its complications, however. In their joint autobiography, Ossie and Ruby made the surprising revelation that they had experimented with an open marriage for a brief period in the 1960s. This candid admission demonstrated their remarkable honesty, but more importantly, they shared how they ultimately realized the arrangement didn't work for them. They chose to recommit to monogamy, strengthening their marriage through this period of exploration and self-discovery. What truly set their relationship apart was their shared commitment to social justice. From organizing the 1963 March on Washington with their close friend Martin Luther King Jr. to protesting apartheid in South Africa, Ruby and Ossie stood together on the front lines of history. Their shared values created a purpose-driven partnership that transcended the typical Hollywood marriage. Their devotion remained steadfast until Ossie's death in 2005 at age 87. After his passing, Ruby continued to speak lovingly about their life together until her own death in 2014. She once reflected, "I never tried to shape him into a husband he was not. He never tried to shape me into a wife I was not. We gave each other space and grace to be ourselves." This mutual respect formed the foundation of their 56-year marriage. Ruby and Ossie's love story teaches us that a great marriage isn't about finding perfection, but about growing together through life's challenges. Their legacy lives on, not just in their artistic achievements, but in the example they set of a partnership built on shared purpose, honest communication, and unwavering support through nearly 6 decades of social change. Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, 50 years of devoted partnership. When asked about his fidelity in a Hollywood filled with temptation, Paul Newman famously quipped, "Why go out for hamburger when you have steak at home?" This humorous comment reflected a deep truth about his 50-year marriage to Joanne Woodward, a union widely considered one of the most successful in Hollywood history. Their romance began in 1953, when both were understudies in the Broadway production of Picnic. Though Paul was married at the time to his first wife, Jackie Witt, he was immediately drawn to Joanne. After his divorce was finalized, Paul and Joanne married in Las Vegas on January 29, 1958, beginning a half-century of remarkable partnership. Their creative collaboration enhanced their personal bond. They appeared in numerous films together, with Paul directing Joanne in several projects, including Rachel, which earned her an Oscar nomination. Rather than competing professionally, they celebrated each other's successes and provided honest feedback that helped both reach their artistic potential. The couple raised 3 daughters together, creating a family life that remained remarkably private despite their fame. They made a conscious decision to live away from Hollywood, establishing their home in Westport, Connecticut. This physical distance from the industry helped them maintain a sense of normalcy and strengthen their family bonds away from constant scrutiny. Their relationship faced serious challenges along the way. Paul's growing fame and sex symbol status created inevitable pressures. His struggle with alcoholism in the 1970s tested their marriage to its limits, but instead of abandoning him, Joanne supported his recovery while maintaining firm boundaries. Her steadfast presence during this difficult period deepened their connection and helped Paul overcome his addiction. What truly distinguished their marriage was their shared commitment to philanthropy. Together, they established Newman's Own, the food company that has donated all its profits, over $570 million, to charity since its founding. Their shared values and dedication to helping others gave their partnership meaning beyond their personal happiness. When asked about the secret to their enduring marriage, Joanne once said, "Sexiness wears thin after a while and beauty fades. But to be married to a man who makes you laugh every day, now that's a real treat." This appreciation for the deeper qualities in their relationship allowed their love to evolve and strengthen over 5 decades. Their devotion remained unwavering until Paul's death from cancer in 2008. Near the end of his life, he arranged for the renovation of an old barn on their property into a theater where Joanne could continue pursuing her passion for stage acting, a final act of love from a man who had supported her dreams for half a century. The Newman-Woodward marriage remains a powerful example that even in Hollywood, lasting love is possible when built on mutual respect, shared values, and the commitment to grow together through life's inevitable challenges. Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks, 41 years of laughter and love. Their characters in The Producers and The Graduate couldn't have been more different, but in real life, Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks shared one of Hollywood's most joyful and enduring marriages. For 41 years, their union proved that opposites can indeed attract and stay happily together for a lifetime. Their meeting sounds like something from one of Mel's comedies. In 1961, Anne was rehearsing for a Perry Como TV special when Mel, who was working nearby, spotted her. According to Mel, "I was working downstairs doing anything I could to make a buck when I saw her getting out of a cab. She was wearing a white dress, had a lot of hair, and was just gorgeous. I said to my friend, 'Who is that girl?' He arranged to be introduced, and despite their different personalities, she was sophisticated and serious, he was outrageous and funny. They connected immediately. They married in 1964, beginning a partnership that would last until Anne's death in 2005. Despite their different backgrounds, she was Italian-American and Catholic, he was Jewish. They found common ground in their artistic sensibilities and values. Friends noted that while Mel was famously hilarious in public, Anne was often the funnier one at home, with a quick wit that matched her husband's. Their professional lives remained largely separate, with each pursuing their own artistic path rather than collaborating frequently. This independence gave them space to grow individually while supporting each other's careers from the sidelines. Anne continued her serious dramatic work, while Mel created comedy classics like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. Their respect for each other's distinct talents strengthened their personal bond. Their contrasting personalities occasionally created friction. Anne's serious demeanor and Mel's outrageous public persona collided at times. Friends revealed that his constant joking occasionally frustrated Anne, while her more restrained approach could leave him feeling inhibited. Yet instead of allowing these differences to drive them apart, they learned to appreciate the balance they brought to each other's lives. What truly set their marriage apart was how they prioritized their relationship despite busy careers. They made a rule never to be apart for more than 2 weeks, even when working on opposite coasts. This commitment to physical togetherness helped them maintain intimacy during their busiest professional periods. Their devotion was particularly evident during Anne's final illness. When she was diagnosed with uterine cancer in 2005, Mel put everything aside to care for her. After her death, he spoke movingly about their connection. "She was my soulmate. We were glued together, and we had the same values." Though known for his comedy, Mel has been remarkably serious when discussing their marriage, revealing the depth of feeling behind their playful public image. The Bancroft-Brooks marriage demonstrates that lasting love doesn't require partners to be carbon copies of each other. Their differences created a dynamic relationship where each brought unique strengths to the partnership. As Mel once said, "Anne and I knew the secret to happiness. Marry your best friend." Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy, 52 years of creative partnership. They weren't always the headliners, but Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy built one of Hollywood's most remarkable marriages while creating an extraordinary body of work together. For 52 years, Their partnership demonstrated how a couple could share both heart and art in perfect harmony. Their story began during World War II when they met while performing in a production of Portrait of a Lady. Jessica, who was recently divorced from actor Jack Hawkins, was initially cautious about starting a new relationship. Hume later recalled, "I pursued her with my usual quiet diligence until I wore her down." They married in 1942, beginning a union that would last until Jessica's death in 1994. What distinguished their marriage was how completely they integrated their professional and personal lives. They appeared in dozens of films, television shows, and plays together, earning a reputation as theater's greatest acting couple. Whether performing The Gin Game on Broadway or starring in films like Cocoon, their natural chemistry enhanced their performances, making audiences believe in the relationships they portrayed. Their creative collaboration went beyond acting. Hume wrote and adapted several plays specifically for them to perform together, including Foxfire, which earned Jessica a Tony Award. This ability to create art as a team added a unique dimension to their marriage, allowing them to share their deepest passion while building something lasting together. Their artistic collaboration wasn't always harmonious. Both were strong-willed performers with definite opinions about their craft. Friends noted that their rehearsals often involved intense disagreements about character interpretations or theatrical choices, yet they developed a remarkable ability to leave professional conflicts at the stage door, separating their artistic differences from their personal relationship. What truly made their marriage exceptional was how they supported each other through professional disappointments and triumphs. When Jessica, after years of respected but modest success, suddenly achieved international fame at age 80 by winning an Oscar for Driving Miss Daisy, Hume celebrated her long overdue recognition without a trace of jealousy. Their security in their own talents allowed them to genuinely delight in each other's successes. Their devotion was most evident during Jessica's battle with ovarian cancer. Hume became her primary caregiver, supporting her through treatments while they continued to work together when her health permitted. Even in this difficult period, they maintained their creative partnership, appearing in The Story Lady when Jessica was between treatments. After Jessica's death in 1994, Hume reflected on their marriage. "We were a team, on stage, at home, in life. I never thought of us as separate entities. They weren't just husband and wife, they were artistic soulmates whose collaboration enriched both their work and their love." The Cronin-Tandy marriage reminds us that sharing your deepest passions with your partner can create a uniquely fulfilling relationship. Their legacy lives on not just in their artistic achievements, but in the example they set of a marriage where love and creativity flourished together for over half a century. Bob and Dolores Hope, 69 years of dedication through constant change. Few couples in Hollywood history stayed together longer than Bob and Dolores Hope, whose remarkable 69-year marriage spanned nearly the entire history of modern entertainment, from vaudeville to the internet age. Their union, lasting from 1934 until Bob's death in 2003, their beginning was appropriately theatrical for a show business couple. They met in 1933 during rehearsals for the Broadway musical Roberta, where Dolores was a singer and Bob was a rising comedian. Bob later claimed it was love at first sight, though Dolores admitted she wasn't immediately impressed by the brash young comic. Nevertheless, they married on February 19, 1934, beginning a partnership that would last through the rest of the century. What made their marriage unusual by Hollywood standards was its remarkable stability despite Bob's constant travel and enormous fame, as he became America's most beloved entertainer, performing thousands of shows for troops overseas and hosting top-rated television specials. Dolores created a solid home foundation, raising their 4 adopted children while managing their numerous properties and investments. This traditional division of roles might seem outdated by modern standards, but it represented a conscious choice that worked for them. Dolores, an accomplished singer who had performed at prestigious venues like the Waldorf Astoria, chose to step back from her own career to support Bob's unprecedented success while finding fulfillment in family life and philanthropy. But let's not pretend everything was always perfect. Bob's grueling travel schedule, he was sometimes away for months performing for troops, created inevitable strains. There were persistent rumors of his infidelities during these long absences, particularly during his USO tours. While neither Bob nor Dolores ever publicly addressed these allegations, friends suggested that Dolores chose to focus on the marriage's bigger picture rather than its imperfections. What truly distinguished their relationship was their shared commitment to philanthropy. Together they supported numerous charities, with the Bob and Dolores Hope Foundation continuing their legacy of giving. Dolores was particularly dedicated to the Eisenhower Medical Center in Palm Springs, where the Dolores Hope Outpatient Care Center recognizes her efforts. This shared purpose gave their marriage meaning beyond personal happiness. Their devotion was particularly evident in their later years. As Bob approached his centenary, Dolores became his primary caregiver, supporting him as his health declined, while preserving his dignity and legacy. After his death at 100, she continued their philanthropic work until her own passing at 102 in 2011. When asked about the secret to their enduring marriage, Dolores once answered simply, "We like each other." I think that's quite important, don't you? This fundamental friendship, combined with their shared values and ability to adapt to changing circumstances, the Hope marriage demonstrates that longevity itself can create a unique kind of love. As Bob once joked, "I take my wife everywhere, but she keeps finding her way back." Behind the humor was the truth of a partnership that endured because both partners kept choosing to return to each other day after day for 69 remarkable years. Harriet Nelson and Ozzie Nelson. 45 years of real-life family values. Before reality television made family life entertainment, Ozzie and Harriet Nelson invited America into their home each week on The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, the longest-running live-action sitcom in U.S. television history. But unlike many TV families, the Nelsons' off-screen marriage was as wholesome and enduring as their on-air personas, lasting 45 years until Ozzie's death in 1975. Their love story began in the music world of the 1930s. Ozzie was leading a popular band when he hired Harriet Hilliard as his vocalist in 1932. Their professional partnership quickly blossomed into romance, and they married on October 8, 1935. This set a pattern that would define their lives, the seamless blending of their professional and personal relationships. Beginning in 1944, they starred in The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, first on radio and then on television from 1952 to 1966. Their real sons, David and Ricky, played themselves on the show, creating a unique situation where the lines between reality and fiction were constantly blurred. This unusual arrangement created both opportunities and challenges for their marriage. Working together daily meant they shared experiences in a way few couples could. However, portraying idealized versions of themselves on national television created pressure to live up to the perfect family image they projected into millions of homes each week. But let's not pretend everything was exactly like their television show. Behind the scenes, Ozzie was a driven perfectionist who controlled virtually every aspect of their professional lives, writing and producing most episodes of their show while making all major business decisions. Harriet, while presenting a traditional homemaker image on screen, was actually a savvy performer whose comedic timing and subtle acting grounded the show's success. What truly made their marriage work was their complementary personalities. Friends noted that Ozzie's intense, sometimes anxious nature was balanced by Harriet's calm practicality. While he focused on their professional endeavors, she maintained their home life and provided emotional stability for the entire family. This balance created a partnership where each brought essential strengths to their shared life. Their devotion was tested during the 1960s when their son Ricky became a teen idol, facing the pressures and temptations of sudden fame. Rather than allowing this challenge to divide them, Ozzie and Harriet presented a united front, supporting Ricky's music career while trying to protect him from exploitation. Their steady guidance during this period demonstrated the strength of their partnership when facing unexpected family challenges. After Ozzie's death in 1975, Harriet never remarried, living another 19 years until her passing in 1994. When asked about the secret to their successful marriage, she once said, "We were friends, best friends. Everything else grows from that." This fundamental friendship, combined with their shared commitment to family values, created a marriage that, while not as perfect as their television portrayal, was genuinely built on mutual respect and enduring love. The Nelson marriage reminds us that sometimes the most dramatic love stories are the quiet ones, partnerships built not on grand passion, but on daily kindness, shared purpose, and the choice to work together toward common goals. Their legacy lives on, not just in television history, but in the example they set of a marriage where family truly came first. Luis Rayner and Robert Knittel, 47 years of life beyond Hollywood. Sometimes the most successful Hollywood marriages are those that leave Hollywood behind. This was certainly true for two-time Academy Award winner Louise Rayner, who found lasting happiness with publisher Robert Knittel after abandoning stardom for a quieter life in Europe. Their 47-year marriage demonstrates how stepping away from fame can sometimes be the key to finding genuine connection. Louise's Hollywood story initially seemed like a fairy tale. Arriving from Europe, she won consecutive Best Actress Oscars for The Great Ziegfeld, 1936, and The Good Earth, 1937, the first actor ever to win back-to-back Academy Awards. But disillusionment with the studio system and unhappiness in her first marriage to playwright Clifford Odets led her to make a dramatic decision. In 1940, she walked away from Hollywood at the height of her fame, moving to Europe to seek a more meaningful life. It was there that she met Robert Knittel, a successful British publisher and editor. They married in 1945, beginning a partnership that would last nearly half a century until Robert's death in 1989. Unlike her brief, tumultuous first marriage, this relationship provided the stability and intellectual companionship Louisa had been seeking. What made their marriage distinctive was its complete removal from the Hollywood system that had made Louisa famous. They established homes in London and Switzerland, where Robert continued his publishing career while Louise occasionally acted in European productions, but primarily focused on their private life. This deliberate step away from celebrity culture allowed them to build a relationship based on their genuine interests rather than public personas. The transition from stardom to private life came with its own challenges. Louise admitted in interviews that giving up the spotlight required significant adjustment. "When you're famous, you think it will last forever," she once reflected. "When I left Hollywood, I had to rediscover who I was beyond the actress." Robert's patience during this transition and his appreciation for her as a complete person rather than just a star strengthened their bond. What truly distinguished their marriage was their shared intellectual and cultural interests. Both were multilingual, well-read, and passionate about literature and the arts. They traveled extensively, maintained friendships with artists and writers, and created a life rich in cultural experiences. This meeting of minds created a deeper connection than Louise had found in Hollywood's more superficial environment. Their devotion remained steadfast through decades of political and social change. They weathered World War II's aftermath, the Cold War, and the cultural revolutions of the 1960s, while maintaining their private, intellectual lifestyle. When Robert became ill in his later years, Louise cared for him devotedly until his death in 1989, demonstrating that their commitment transcended the glamour and excitement of youth. After Robert's death, Louise lived another 25 years, occasionally reflecting on their marriage in rare interviews. "We respected each other's independence while sharing our deepest values," she once said. "This is more important than romance, though we had that too." This mature understanding of partnership allowed their relationship to evolve and deepen through nearly 5 decades together. The Rayner-Knittel marriage offers a powerful counterpoint to typical Hollywood unions. By walking away from fame to prioritize personal fulfillment, Louise found a relationship far more satisfying than anything the studio system had offered her. Their story reminds us that sometimes the bravest decision is to step out of the spotlight and build a life based on genuine connection rather than public adulation. Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira, 61 years of creative chemistry. Long before Jerry Stiller became known as Frank Costanza on Seinfeld, or Ann Mira as Steve's mom on Sex and the City, they were simply Stiller and Mira, one of America's most beloved comedy duos and one of Hollywood's most enduring marriages. Their 61-year union demonstrated how shared creativity and humor could sustain a relationship through both professional and personal challenges. Their unlikely romance began in 1953, when both were struggling actors in New York City. Anne, an Irish Catholic, was distraught after a disastrous audition when she literally ran into Jerry, a Jewish comedian, outside a theatrical agent's office. He took her for coffee to cheer her up, and despite their different backgrounds, they connected immediately through their shared sense of humor and theatrical ambitions. They married in 1954, beginning a partnership that would span 6 decades. What distinguished the Stiller-Mira marriage was how they transformed their religious and cultural differences into creative material. Their comedy routines often played on their interfaith relationship, with Anne's character, Mary Elizabeth Doyle, constantly confounding Jerry's Hershey Horowitz. By turning potential tension points into humor, they not only built a successful act, but also developed a healthy way to navigate their real-life differences. Their professional collaboration brought both opportunities and challenges. Working together on stage, television, and radio created a shared experience that strengthened their bond. However, Anne eventually grew tired of being known only as part of a duo. "I love my husband, but I wanted to develop as an independent person," she explained. This led to their decision to pursue separate careers in the 1970s, a risky move that could have threatened their relationship. Their professional separation required deliberate effort to maintain their personal connection. Jerry later revealed, "There were times when we thought maybe we should split professionally, but something always happened that brought us back together." Their mature ability to give each other space while maintaining their bond allowed both to achieve individual success while preserving their marriage. What truly made their relationship exceptional was their shared belief in the healing power of laughter. Jerry once explained, "Anne and I always made each other laugh, even in the worst of times." This ability to find humor in life's difficulties, from career disappointments to family challenges, created a resilience that sustained them through 6 decades of Hollywood's inevitable ups and downs. Their devotion was particularly evident in how they supported their children's careers. When their son Ben began directing films and their daughter Amy pursued stand-up comedy, Jerry and Anne offered guidance without overshadowing them. This balanced approach to parenting reflected the same respect for independence they had cultivated in their marriage. Their partnership remained strong until Anne's death in 2015. In the years following her passing, Jerry spoke movingly about their relationship. "Anne was my everything. Whatever I needed, she provided." After his own death in 2020, their son Ben shared that his father had never fully recovered from losing Anne, writing, "He missed her every day." This profound connection, lasting beyond death, testifies to the depth of their 61-year bond. The Stiller-Meara marriage reminds us that the best partnerships allow both individuals to grow while maintaining their connection. Their ability to evolve from a comedy duo to successful individual performers while preserving their personal relationship demonstrates how mutual support and shared laughter can create a marriage that thrives through decades of change. Julie Andrews and Blake Edwards, 41 years of creative collaboration. When Mary Poppins fell in love with the Pink Panther's creator, the result was one of Hollywood's most creatively fruitful marriages. Julie Andrews and Blake Edwards' 41-year union demonstrated how artistic collaboration could enhance both professional achievement and personal connection when built on mutual respect, complementary talents. Their love story began in 1967 when both were recovering from personal setback. Julie was coping with her divorce from Tony Walton, while Blake was regrouping after his separation from Patricia Walker. They initially passed each other repeatedly on opposite direction trips along Sunset Boulevard, waving casually from their cars. Finally, Blake's agent arranged a proper introduction, and despite Julie's initial hesitation about dating, their connection was immediate and profound. They married in 1969, beginning a partnership that would last until Blake's death in 2010. Unlike many Hollywood couples who kept their professional lives separate, Julie and Blake embraced creative collaboration, working together on 7 films including 10, S.O.B., and Victor Victoria. These projects showcased both his directorial vision and her remarkable versatility as an actress. What made their professional collaboration distinctive was how it allowed both to expand beyond their established images. Under Blake's direction, Julie transcended her squeaky clean Mary Poppins persona to take on sophisticated, sexy roles that revealed new dimensions of her talent. Meanwhile, her musical gifts and precise acting enhanced his films, creating a synergy that benefited both careers. Their creative partnership wasn't without friction. Blake was known for his volatile temperament and occasional bouts of depression, while Julie acknowledged her own perfectionist tendencies. They sometimes disagreed intensely about creative decisions, with Julie later admitting, "We had wonderful creative tensions, argue fiercely about a scene, then go home together and leave it at the studio." This ability to separate professional disagreements from their personal relationship strengthened both their marriage and their artistic output. What truly distinguished their partnership was how they blended their families from previous marriages. Together, they raised 5 children, her daughter Emma, his children Jennifer and Jeffrey, and 2 Vietnamese orphans they adopted during the fall of Saigon. Creating harmony in this complex family required patience and compromise, qualities that enhanced their marital bond as well. Their devotion was particularly evident during Blake's health struggles later in life. As he battled chronic fatigue syndrome and depression, Julie became his steadfast supporter while continuing her own career. She even put some projects on hold to be with him during difficult periods, demonstrating that their partnership ultimately took precedence over individual ambitions. After Blake's death in 2010, Julie spoke tenderly about their marriage. "We were married 41 years, and it was a love story, a real one. We had our bumpy times, but the center always held." This realistic acknowledgement of both challenges and enduring connection reflects the mature understanding that sustained their relationship through 4 decades of Hollywood's inevitable pressures. The Andrews-Edwards marriage reminds us that creative partnerships can enhance rather than threaten romantic relationships when built on genuine respect for each other's talents. Their ability to collaborate professionally while maintaining a loving personal bond created a unique synergy that enriched both their artistic achievements and their family life. Irving and Marjorie Cowan, 65 years away from the spotlight. While celebrities often dominated Hollywood headlines, some of the industry's most enduring marriages belong to those working behind the scenes. Irving and Marjorie Cowan's remarkable 65-year union exemplifies how lasting love flourished in Hollywood's business side, away from the cameras and red carpets. Irving was a pioneering television producer and studio executive whose company created classics like The Life of Riley and later Love American Style. Marjorie, a former radio singer, became his business partner as well as his wife. They married in 1939, beginning a partnership that would span more than 6 decades until Irving's death in 2004. What distinguished the Cowans' marriage was their shared entrepreneurial spirit. Together they built not just television productions but also developed hotels, including the Beverly Hills Hotel renovation in the 1940s and later the Cowan Building in Beverly Hills. Their philanthropy further strengthened their connection. They established the Marjorie and Irving Cowan Family Foundation, which supported medical research, education, and the arts. The Cowan Performing Arts Center at the University of Miami and the Cowan Wing at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles stand as testaments to their shared commitment to giving back to their communities. Like any long-term partnership, they worked through their differences. Friends noted that their strong personalities sometimes led to disagreements about business decisions or philanthropic priorities. However, they developed a remarkable ability to resolve conflicts through compromise and mutual respect. From the radio era through the golden age of television and beyond, their relationship adapted to technological and cultural shifts while maintaining its core strength. The Cowan marriage reminds us that some of Hollywood's greatest love stories happened away from the spotlight. And that concludes our exploration of Hollywood's most enduring love story, relationships that flourished despite the pressures and temptations of fame. These remarkable couples showed that even in an industry notorious for fleeting marriage, genuine commitment and mutual respect could create partnerships lasting half a century or more. Their examples remind us that true love stories don't end at happily ever after, but continue developing and deepening through life's inevitable challenges and changes. If you enjoyed these inspiring Hollywood romances, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content exploring the golden era of cinema. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which of these couples' stories resonate with you most? Do you know of other enduring Hollywood marriages that deserve recognition? Drop a comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll uncover more heartwarming stories from Hollywood's golden past.